Today should have been the day I married Willow, but when I arrived at the banquet hall, my fiancée was so scared she practically wet herself. She was trembling, panicking, and asked, "George, what are you doing here?" I was confused, so I got out of the car, looking at her speechlessly. I was just about to ask how she ended up here, but the next second, I glanced at Makoto standing beside her, and immediately understood. Today was supposed to be the day my fiancée married her other fiancé. Chapter 1. Dad, didn't you say that I had a childhood betrothal? A fiancée I was promised to since we were kids. Could you tell her that I'll be getting married on the 1st of next month and ask her if she wants to come as the bride? There was a pause on the other end of the phone. My dad asked, "Didn't you want to marry Willow? Aren't you in the middle of wedding preparations? Did you two have a fight?" I replied, "Dad, just ask her." He sighed and said, "All right, if you've made up your mind, I just want you to be happy." I responded, "I will be." Yes, I once loved Willow deeply and believed she was my destined partner. The wedding date was set, and I was eagerly looking forward to being the groom. But just a moment ago, I was given the shock of my life. An hour ago, I was with Willow trying on wedding dresses. I stepped out in my tuxedo, only to find that Willow was nowhere in sight. Looking around, I finally spotted her in a secluded corner by the window. She was talking on the phone, smiling sweetly. The shop attendant blocked my view as he said, "Mr. Wong, you have a phone call." It was the wedding planning company calling. On the other end, they said, "Mr. Wong, Miss Liu just informed us that there was a mistake with the groom's name. It should be Makoto instead of you. Are you aware of this?" An indescribable sadness hit me instantly, and anger surged up. Although I had already suspected Willow's betrayal, I still underestimated her ruthlessness. A month ago, Willow's first love, Makoto, returned to the country after 5 years abroad, and I had a bad feeling about it. Just yesterday, when Willow left, she accidentally forgot the red string she always wore. She had said it was a token of our love and her lucky charm, something she always carried. So I took the red string and rushed to the venue, only to see Willow accepting Makoto's proposal with my own eyes. Someone asked, "Willow, aren't you supposed to marry George soon? What about him?" Willow casually replied, "Makoto is sick, and this is his last wish. As for George, as long as you all keep it secret, he won't find out. Even if he does, he loves me so much, he will understand and won't leave me." Makoto hugged Willow and nodded in agreement, saying, "Sorry to make things difficult for you, Willow, but I don't have much time left. This is my last wish. I'm sure Mr. Wong will understand." The two kissed passionately amidst cheers from their friends, and I stormed off in anger. The voice on the phone continued, "Hello, Mr. Wong, are you still there? Should we change the name?" I had once loved Willow more than anything, thought I couldn't live without her, but that was all in the past now. I said, "Yes, change it. Also, book the next hall for me. I'll transfer the money later. Just copy everything. Oh, and remember to change the bride's name too. I'll send it to you later." The voice on the other end paused and asked, "So, is the wedding date staying the same?" I replied, "Yes, same date." I took a deep breath and hung up the phone. Then, Willow came over and hugged me from behind. She said, "George, you look so handsome today." I asked, "Really?" I looked at myself in the mirror, and it was fine. But why was it that my fiancé, who I had been in love with for years and was about to marry, was betraying me to marry someone else? She said, "Of course." Then, Willow hesitated and said, "There's something I need to discuss with you. I have something to do on the 1st of next month. Can we postpone our wedding?" Something to do? I sneered inwardly. Her so-called something to do was marrying another man. And on top of that, she wanted to use the venue I chose, the date I set, and keep it all a secret from me. I replied, "All right, let's postpone it then." This answer caught Willow off guard, and she seemed a bit panicked. She said, "I love you, George. I will marry you. Wait for me. I swear I'll love you forever." "Ah, there's something at work. Wait for me to get home." Watching her hurriedly take off her wedding dress and leave, I found her vows laughable. I knew that in Willow's heart, she believed that my love for her had no limits. Even though I knew she was marrying someone else, she thought I wouldn't leave her. But this time, she was wrong. Not only will I leave, but I'm going to marry on the same day she does. Chapter 2. When I got home, I started packing up my things. Halfway through, Willow came back. She said, "George, I just got back as soon as I could from work. Did you miss me?" She handed me a box of chocolates. "I bought these just for you. I'm sorry I left early from the bridal shop earlier. Want to accept my apology for abandoning my future husband?" I almost laughed out loud. I clearly remembered that these chocolates were the wedding candy Makoto had prepared. This was clearly the candy she casually picked up from the proposal scene to give to me. What was this? Did she want to share in the joy of her own proposal with me? She asked, "What are you laughing at?" Seeing me smile, Willow seemed a little flustered. I said, "It's nothing." I took the box of chocolates, but my peripheral vision caught the hickey on her neck. The bright red mark was so obvious. I raised my hand and pointed at her neck, saying, "There's something on your neck." Willow looked down and saw that it was a mark from when Makoto kissed her. She panicked and tried to explain. She said, "Oh, maybe I got scratched or bitten by something." I replied, I didn't call her out on it. I said, "Your clothes are dirty too. Take them off. I'll wash them for you." Willow thought she had dodged another bullet and quickly kissed me on the cheek, saying, "George, you're so sweet." I took her coat, smiling lightly at her face. Sweet, more like gullible. Maybe I was too rough while washing it, but her coat ended up torn. Willow didn't mind. Instead, she hugged me and gently said, "It's fine. I'll just throw it away. You can buy me a new one." She changed into another outfit, but the scent of another man still lingered on her. I pulled at the corners of my lips and said, "Some things, aren't they better when they're old?" She replied, "That's true." Willow nodded and said, "This coat was really nice to wear. It's a shame you ruined it, or I could have worn it a few more times. You know, I'm a very loyal person. A loyal person. So loyal that even after 5 years, she still loved the guy she was with back then. What about me? What does our 5 years together mean? From childhood, I've never lacked admirers. After graduating from college, I applied to the same company where Willow worked. The moment I saw her, I fell for her, but my pride kept me from making the first move. Somehow, Willow also started to like me and began pursuing me passionately. At first, I was worried about our different statuses and didn't dare agree to her advances. Until one day, when the company caught fire, when the fire alarm went off, everyone rushed to escape. I had been resting in the lounge because I was sick and didn't notice. It was Willow who turned around and pulled me out of the fire. At that moment, I decided to be with her forever and love this woman with all my heart. 5 years. I'll always remember the day we got together. Willow swore to me, "George, I promise I will love only you in this lifetime." Seeing the sincerity in her eyes, I hugged her and said, "Willow, I will love and spoil you for the rest of my life." Because of love, I was nervous. I hesitated and added, "If you ever stop loving me, just tell me, and I'll let you go. I will always be loyal to you, and I hope you are the same with me. If you choose to betray me, I won't stay." Those vows still echo in my ears, but her heart had already changed. No, or rather, her heart never belonged to me in the first place. I squeezed the shirt in my hand, unable to hold back, my eyes red. She asked, "What's wrong? Why are your eyes so red?" I replied, "It's nothing. She was the one who betrayed me first, so I will keep my promise and leave." After finally calming down, Willow, as usual, tried to kiss the corner of my mouth, but I pushed her away. She awkwardly cleared her throat, let go of me, and stretched out her hand asking for a gift. She said, "By the way, what about the gift you promised me?" I told her to wait and went upstairs. I took out the wedding invitations Willow and I had picked together. I took a pen and wrote Anna and my names in the place for the bride and groom, then put the invitation back in its box. Downstairs, I handed her the box. She asked, "What's this?" Willow was curious, wanting to open it, but I stopped her. I said, "Open it on the 1st of next month." When she heard the date, her hand trembled. Wasn't that the day she was going to marry Makoto? She asked, "Why?" I said, "Because the 1st of next month was supposed to be our wedding day." I smiled, taped the box shut, and said, "Now that the wedding is postponed, I'm giving you a big gift. You'll have a surprise." "Great. I love surprises." She tapped my nose, then jumped into my arms. She said, "George, I'm really happy today." Happy? The light in my eyes dimmed little by little. What was she happy about? Maybe she was happy about marrying another man. Thinking I was clueless, I was sad, but Willow couldn't see it. That night, Willow went to take a shower. I sat on the couch scrolling through my phone, and by chance, I saw a post from Willow's friends. The post was of Willow being proposed to. She wrote, "The love I once envied has finally come true. Let's celebrate tonight at the usual place." I froze for a moment, about to click on it, but then a comment popped up. The comment said, "You dare post this? Did you block George?" The reply was, "Am I that stupid?" Of course, I blocked him. I looked at the comment, a mocking smile curling at my lips. When Willow and I first got together, she took me to meet her best friends. When they saw me, they all called me Wong Bro, Big Brother Wong. But now, they were all helping Willow keep the fact that she was marrying another man from me. In just a second, the post was deleted. Soon, Willow came out of the bathroom. She said, "George, you." She had just washed her hair and hadn't even dried it yet. Rushing out in a panic, I asked, "What's wrong?" I raised my eyes to look at her, expressionless, as if I hadn't seen anything. Seeing that I didn't react, Willow sighed in relief. she said. It's nothing. I just wanted to tell you that I'm done washing. I stood up and was about to head out when I heard Willow talking on the phone with her best friend. She said, "Are you crazy? Hurry up and delete the post. What if George sees it? I told you. This can't get out. Do you want us all to die?" The other side replied, "All right, it's deleted. He definitely hasn't seen it. By the way, you still haven't come to the celebration for your proposal. Makoto is already here." Chapter 3. Willow was still hesitating when I suddenly walked in and asked, "Who are you on the phone with?" She replied, "Oh, it's just Maria and the others. They're asking me out for a get-together." I said, "Is that so? It's been a while since I've seen them. Let me take you there and meet them too." I wanted to see how well they could keep their secret when I showed up. Willow tried to make excuses but failed to stop me. She could only anxiously lower her head, fiddling with her phone and warning her friends. When we arrived at the bar's private room, I spotted Willow's friends at a glance. They were all sitting obediently, drinking. Seeing me, they greeted me. "Wong bro." "Hello, Wong bro. Thank you for your hard work tonight. There's no one else, just us women." I chuckled. "So, does that mean I'm not supposed to be here?" The girls froze, and Willow quickly squeezed my hand and said, "That's not what they meant. They just didn't want you to get bored." I replied, "I'm not here for anything else. It's just been a while, so I came to have a drink. Since it's a girls' night, I'll have my drink and leave." With that, I grabbed a glass of wine from the table and drank it in one gulp, pretending not to notice the flash of amusement on their faces as I turned and walked away. Willow, pretending to be reluctant, hugged me and coquettishly asked for a kiss. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. She said, "I won't be too late. If you're tired, just go to bed. Don't wait for me." I went downstairs. Standing in a hidden corner, I waited for a while, and sure enough, I saw Makoto. He rushed upstairs, quickly entering the private room. I stood by the door and could clearly see what was going on inside. Makoto directly pulled Willow onto his lap, saying, "Seriously, why did he even bring you here? Now I have to hide. Because of him, you need to kiss me." As an apology, Willow wrapped her arms around him and smiled. "I'll kiss you a couple of times." She grinned and kissed Makoto on the lips. Her friends laughed. "Oh wow, you're making us all jealous." Makoto laughed heartily. "What's there to be jealous of? I'll bring some guys over soon, and we'll have some fun." Before long, he called a few men over, and the group began drinking, playing games, and having a lively time with Truth or Dare. By chance, the first person to be punished was Willow. A friend teasingly asked, "Willow, tell us, who do you like more, Makoto or George?" Hearing this question, Makoto didn't get angry. Instead, he looked pleased and said, "Be honest. Just don't say it's because I'm a patient." Willow answered, "George." Makoto furrowed his brows. "I'm still here." Willow, lying in Makoto's arms, carelessly replied, "I like you too, but who told you to be so decisive back then? Marrying you now is just fulfilling your wish before you die. After that, it's George who'll be with me till the end. That's how we promised. Next time, don't let something like this happen again. Keep it a secret from George." She thought to herself, George couldn't tolerate this kind of thing. If he found out she was still ambiguous with another man, he would probably break up with her. But Makoto couldn't be left alone. He had returned from abroad, terminally ill, and his last wish was to marry her. After all, he was the man she had once loved deeply. How could she ignore him? As long as she kept it from George, once Makoto was gone, she'd marry George and take care of him for the rest of her life. That way, no one would get hurt. It was the best of both worlds. Makoto hugged her, gritted his teeth, and said calmly, "I don't mind. I was the one who left you. I'm just happy that you're willing to spend this time with me. I love Willow, and I don't want to hurt her boyfriend. So everyone needs to keep this secret for Willow." I stood frozen outside the door, my face drained of all color. Their words felt like sharp blades, cutting through my heart again and again. They pierced my insides, making me feel as if my whole body was drenched in blood, the pain unbearable. When I heard Willow's choice, I felt nauseous, like I was going to throw up. I never imagined that the woman I had loved for 5 years was so rotten at her core. I leaned against the wall, trembling uncontrollably, feeling intense pain. My strength drained away slowly, and I collapsed to the floor. I don't know how long it was before I could gather enough strength to get up. I dragged my feet, my gaze empty, heading downstairs. But after only a few steps, I couldn't hold on anymore. I finally fainted and tumbled down the stairs. Chapter 4. Help! Someone fell down the stairs. I heard shouting in my ears, and soon, a crowd gathered around. Before I closed my eyes, I saw Willow and her sisters one by one, leaving from the side. Seeing the commotion, they just glanced over and walked away. Of course, they had no idea that the person surrounded by the crowd was already me, long gone. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. A nurse was changing my bandages. "You're awake?" I asked. How did I end up here? She replied. You fainted from low blood sugar. A stranger brought you in, and they've already left. What's your family's phone number? I can help you call them. No need. I shook my head. Just thinking about Willow made me feel sick. I dragged my heavy footsteps out of the hospital room to pay the bill. After just a few steps, I overheard the nurses chatting. One of them said, "Did you hear? This morning, they brought in a man and a woman. They said they fell off the couch at the bar, smashed a beer bottle, and the guy was covered in shards." Another nurse replied, "I saw it. The situation was so intense. I didn't expect the younger generation to play so wildly these days." The first nurse said, "That woman looks really familiar. I think she's been on TV." The other nurse agreed, "Yeah, she does look familiar. What's her name again? I think her last name is Lou." My steps froze. Before I could ask more, I saw two figures walking toward me in the distance. The nurse saw them and quickly lowered her head and walked away. She said, "It's them. They're quite good looking. But what kind of wild game are they playing?" I looked at the two of them walking closer, my legs feeling as if they were filled with lead, unable to move. At that moment, Willow noticed me. Seeing me, she immediately let go of Makoto's arm. "George, what are you doing here?" She quickly ran over, looking me up and down with a worried face, and asked, "Why do you look so pale? Why didn't you call me?" I asked, "What about you? What are you doing with this man?" I subtly pulled away from her touch. Makoto extended his hand toward me generously. He said, "Hello, I'm Makoto, Willow's." He intentionally dragged out the words, but still didn't finish. Willow quickly added, "Just a good friend." Makoto's expression changed, not willing to give up. He said, "Nice to meet you. I'm getting married on the 1st of next month. I hope you can come." When he said this, Willow's face darkened, and she shot him a glance with her dark eyes. She said, "Makoto, he's not familiar with you. Why are you inviting George to your wedding?" Makoto replied, "He's not familiar with me, but he's familiar with you, and I'm familiar with you, so doesn't that make us all familiar?" Hearing his blatant provocation, I smiled at Willow and softly asked, "Willow, wasn't our wedding date also on that day? You said you had something going on that day. Could it be that you're going to attend his wedding?" Willow panicked and quickly shook her head. "Of course not. I have something for work that day. I have to go abroad. Don't overthink it." I asked, "Really?" Her guilt was obvious, but I didn't want to deal with it. I turned to Makoto and said, "Sorry, I have something that day. I won't be able to come." He asked, "Such a coincidence?" I replied, "Yeah, it's really a coincidence, because I'm getting married that day." As soon as the words left my mouth, Willow looked at me nervously and asked, "What did you say, George? Our wedding got postponed, didn't it?" Seeing her nervousness, I took a deep breath, calmed myself, and said, "It's nothing. I was just joking. I'm not available that day." I turned to leave, but Willow quickly stepped forward as if to chase after me. I called out to her, "Since you're here with a friend to see the doctor, it wouldn't be right to leave him alone. I'll go back by myself. Don't worry about me." Seeing George leave, Willow suddenly felt a sharp pain in her heart. Noticing her concern for George, Makoto frowned and said, "Willow, I'm in so much pain. My whole body hurts. Will you come home with me?" Willow was still upset over George's attitude and didn't pay attention to Makoto. She said, "Get your act together and stop provoking him." After returning home, I continued packing. I couldn't stay in this place for another moment. Thankfully, I didn't have much stuff, so it didn't take long to fill one suitcase with my belongings. When I finished packing, I grabbed my suitcase and went downstairs. At the table, I saw the chocolates Willow had given me yesterday. I sneered, took them out, and threw them in the trash. The servant saw me throw the chocolates away and asked, confused, "Sir, isn't this a gift from Miss? You don't want it anymore?" I said flatly, "I don't want things someone else has used. It's dirty," he said, "but these chocolates are fine. How could they be someone else's?" The servant didn't understand why I was doing this. I couldn't be bothered to explain. I ran back upstairs, gathered all the things Willow had given me over the years, and packed them into a big bag. I said, "Take these and throw them away." He asked, "Throw them away?" The servant paused and said, "Sir, didn't you used to treasure these things? They were all gifts from Miss." I countered, "Don't you understand what I'm saying?" I took out the expensive watches and ties I had given Willow and said, "Donate them." He replied, "But these were gifts you gave to Miss. They're not cheap." I replied impatiently. I said donate them. Having no choice, the servant quickly took the items and left. Once everything was packed, I took out my phone and bought a plane ticket. I was going home. I would leave tomorrow. After booking the ticket, a message popped up on my phone. It was from an unknown number. I opened it and saw an intimate and suggestive photo. It was of Willow and Makoto. The message read, George, if you're not an idiot, you should understand that my relationship with Willow isn't simple. You're probably wondering why we're at the hospital. That's because we got injured after being too intense at the bar. By the way, I'm getting married on the 1st of next month. The bride isn't anyone else. It's your girlfriend, Willow. I'm her first love, the one she's always loved. You were just her replacement when she was lonely over the past 5 years. Every word was filled with provocation. Looking at the pictures and the text, I couldn't hold back my anger. 5 years of love. How could I not care? My hand holding the phone trembled slightly, and my eyes began to redden. At that moment, Willow came back. She hugged me from behind and whispered, "George, why are you upset again? I'm back, and there's really nothing between me and him. I was so drunk last night that I didn't come home, and Makoto is just a friend. I only met him this morning. Don't overthink things." Facing her explanation, I waved my hand and calmly turned off my phone. I said, "I understand." I pushed her away and stared at her quietly. This face, still as pure as it was 5 years ago. But how could her heart have changed? Chapter 5. I couldn't hold back and tightly squeezed her shoulder. Willow winced in pain from the pressure, but her previously anxious heart finally calmed down. She said, "If you're upset, just squeeze me again. It's fine, as long as you're not angry." So tender, yet so disgusting. I immediately grabbed her arm and squeezed it again. After all, she asked for it. "Willow, do you remember I said that everything can be forgiven, but if you betray me, I will leave and marry someone else?" Willow's expression changed instantly. She said, "George, what are you talking about? Willow, have always believed that the person I will grow old with is you. I will always love only you, and I will never change. The one who loves me the most, yet tangled with another man, ending up in the hospital. The one who loves me the most, yet has delayed our wedding for the wishes of another man, leaving me to take on a second-hand product." I looked at her, as if trying to peer into her heart to see what she was truly thinking. In the end, I just nodded and said nothing. I said, "I understand." Willow hugged me again, but I pushed her away. As soon as she got close, I remembered the scene of her hugging Makoto at the bar. It was too disgusting, too repulsive. At that moment, Willow finally noticed the suitcase next to me. Her heart, which had been momentarily calm, tightened again. She grabbed my arm and asked, "Whose suitcase is this? Where are you going?" I replied, "My mom said I should go back home for a while since the wedding is soon." She asked, "Is that so?" Willow let out a sigh of relief and said, "I understand. Some customs require the bride and groom not to meet before the wedding, although the wedding has been postponed. If you're feeling homesick, you can stay at home for a few more days." I smiled and didn't say anything, picking up my suitcase and preparing to leave. Willow offered to see me off. She said, "Let me send you back." I looked at her with a half smile and said, "No need. Didn't they say the bride and groom should have some freedom before the wedding?" "Willow, you might need that too, right?" "What are you talking about?" Willow pouted and said, "George, I would never do anything to betray you. After you leave, I'll remain pure until the day we get married." I slowly lowered my head, sighed deeply, as if I had given up all hope. I said, "Fine, do as you please. I'm leaving now." Pushing her away, I left the house without looking back. Watching my retreating figure, Willow felt a strange sensation, though she couldn't quite understand why. But soon enough, she contacted Makoto. When I finally got home, my parents were overjoyed and bombarded me with questions. "You finally came back. The Sue family has agreed to the wedding on the 1st of next month. But didn't you say you were going to marry Willow on that date? Why the sudden change of bride?" "Yeah, you little rascal. Marriage is no joke. Don't mess around. If you like someone, marry them. Your mom and I aren't so old-fashioned." I felt exhausted and didn't want to say anything. I said, "Mom, Dad, I'm really tired. I just want to go to my room and sleep." I dragged my tired body upstairs, and knowing that I was in a bad mood, my parents didn't ask any further. My mom said, "All right, get some rest before the wedding. I'll find a time for you to meet that girl from the Sue family." "Okay," I replied. "No need. If she's fine with it, we'll just meet on the wedding day." Since I had already decided to marry, whether we meet or not didn't matter anymore. Chapter 6. Finally, on the eve of the wedding, Willow finally sensed that something was wrong. At the bachelorette party, she vented to her friends, "Recently, George has been ignoring me and not answering my calls. Could it be that he's figured something out?" Her best friend said, "No way. We've kept it so well hidden. He couldn't possibly know. Just focus on marrying Makoto tomorrow." "That's right. Enjoy the time with Makoto. He doesn't have much left. Once you get through this month, George will come back to you obediently." Willow was still worried, but the wedding day with Makoto was approaching, and she couldn't think too much about it. The next morning, her mother was so excited that she cried while laughing. She said, "My son, today he's finally getting married." I said, "Mom, Marriage is a good thing. Why are you crying? She replied. How could I not cry? You little rascal, finally grew up, she sobbed. But luckily, we're familiar with the Su family. I've met Anna a few times. She just came back from Kyoto. I heard she's a military officer and quite good looking. Her family's conditions are as good as Willow's. Saying this, her mother was about to show me a picture on her phone, but I stopped her. I said, forget it, Mom. I'll see her in person soon. No need to look at photos. I checked the time. It was already 7 in the morning. I had to head to the hotel. Willow should have already left by now. It was time to tell everyone I was getting married. I took out my phone and posted an update. I'm getting married. Congratulate me. Soon, a flood of comments appeared. Congratulations. 5 years of love finally come to fruition. Finally marrying Willow. I envy you guys. May you and Willow be happy forever. I looked at these comments, and a bitter smile tugged at my lips. Look, everyone thought I was marrying Willow, but she was marrying her first love, and I was marrying a stranger. Willow was distracted all morning. For some reason, she had an uneasy feeling, like something wasn't right. Her friends reassured her that there was nothing to worry about, that she was just overthinking. She had no choice but to let Makoto drive her to the hotel we had agreed upon. Just as they got out of the car, a few friends they hadn't seen in a while walked over with smiles, saying, Congratulations, Willow, you're finally getting married. One of them asked, Where's George? Why haven't we seen him? Willow bit her lip and said, George? Willow awkwardly replied, I'm not marrying him today. The person was stunned, then replied, What? You're joking, right? George posted this morning saying he's getting married. Isn't it to you? Another person asked in confusion. That can't be right. The hotel and the date are the same. How could it not be with you? Willow, stop joking. Willow froze, then asked, What did you say? He posted saying he's getting married today. She snatched his phone and, when she saw my post, her mind went completely blank. It was impossible. George was getting married. Who was he marrying? The next moment, a car stopped by the side of the road, and the person who got out of the car was none other than me, dressed in a suit. Upon seeing me, Willow's face instantly changed. She stood frozen, panic in her eyes, and asked, George, what are you doing here? I stepped out of the car, looked at the woman in front of me, and a mocking smile crept onto my lips. I said, I should be the one asking you, what are you doing here? I glanced at Makoto standing beside her, dressed in the suit I had picked out, standing in what should have been my place. Seeing me, Makoto's face also darkened. George. Willow didn't know what to say. Makoto gritted his teeth and said, Mr. Wong, you already knew I was marrying Willow today, so you came to take her from me, didn't you? Makoto let out a few coughs and said, Mr. Wong, please don't ruin my wedding. I'm dying. I don't have much time left. Once I'm gone, Willow will be all yours. Can't you just let me have her today? He said it earnestly. Seeing that I remained unmoved, he bent down and bowed to me. The crowd around us grew, and they all assumed I was the mistress. Makoto continued, Mr. Wong, I truly love Willow. I have cancer, and my only wish before I die is to marry her. Please, fulfill my wish. But looking at the scene before me, I could only laugh. Willow could no longer watch and helped Makoto to his feet. She said, Makoto, don't do this. George is magnanimous. He'll fulfill your wish. She looked at me and walked over to take my hand. She said, I'm sorry, George. I didn't mean to hide this from you. Makoto's condition is getting worse, and I couldn't let him die without fulfilling his last wish. You go back first. Once his wedding is over, I'll come back to find you. I shook off her hand and expressionlessly said, Willow, what made you think I came here for you? George, what are you doing today? Can you at least forgive me for this? Once I get back, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, George, things have already reached this point. Be generous and let Willow marry Makoto. Her friends suddenly appeared from who knows where, all trying to persuade me to be generous. Willow still loves you. Her actions show that she has a big heart. George, you've always been so generous. Please go back now. I looked at these women and sneered. Each one of them, truly generous. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it. I said, I'll say it again. I'm not here for you. With that, I lifted my foot to enter the hall, but Makoto blocked my way. He said, George, you won't fulfill my wish, will you? You want to watch me die, don't you? As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly raised his foot and slammed it into a nearby pillar. The crowd gasped as blood dripped from his forehead, staining his suit. Makoto. This action made all of Willow's hesitation and guilt disappear. She embraced Makoto and asked, heartbroken, why did you have to do this? Makoto replied, Willow, you know, my biggest wish in this life is to marry you. Now that Mr. Wong won't fulfill it, I'd rather just die now. Don't worry, I don't blame you, nor do I blame Mr. Wong. I only blame my bad luck. After saying this, he even spat out blood. Seeing this, Willow raised her eyes, and the look in her gaze toward me slowly turned cold. Chapter 7. George, do you really need to watch Makoto harm himself before you'll stop? When did you become so cruel and heartless? Her accusation pierced through me, and I felt a sharp pain in my chest. So, this is how she sees me. But it didn't matter anymore. I was done with this farce. Someone spoke up. Willow, the ceremony is about to start. We should go in. Willow helped Makoto up, shot me a glance, and then left without looking back. A person approached and offered some words of consolation. George, it's really unnecessary. Since Willow said Makoto doesn't have long to live, just let them be. Don't make a scene. There are too many people watching. I sighed. I told you, I'm not here for Willow. I'm getting married today. In the room next door. If you all have time, you're welcome to join us. With that, I turned and walked into the hotel lobby. People exchanged confused glances, unsure of whether to believe me. Someone said, Willow really has two men fighting over her. Impressive. By the time I entered the hall, most of the family had already arrived, but there was still no sign of the bride. My mother started to panic. Anna isn't coming, is she? My father chuckled. Don't be silly. The Sue family is here. How could Anna not come? I heard she's been on her way since yesterday. She's probably just running late. Both my parents seemed anxious, but I sat there expressionless, a storm brewing in my chest. Am I nervous? Of course, I am. I'm about to marry a stranger I've never even met. Someone I don't know if she's beautiful, tall, or even kind. Do I regret it? No, I'm not getting any younger. It's time to marry. If the person isn't someone I love, does it really matter who it is? The voice of the host from next door drifted through the walls. I glanced over, wondering how Willow was doing. Meanwhile, Willow stood at the front, but her mind was far from the ceremony. She was consumed with thoughts of George, wondering if he had left, if he would ever forgive her. Makoto, do you take Willow to be your lawfully wedded wife, to love and cherish her in sickness and health, for richer or poorer, as long as you both shall live? Makoto eagerly replied, I do. Willow, do you take Makoto to be your husband, to love and cherish him forever, for better or for worse, no matter what? Willow was so deep in thought about George that she didn't even hear the host's question. Willow. Makoto pulled at her wedding dress. What is it? The host is asking you a question. Sorry, Willow said, snapping back to reality, just in time to hear the host's second question. But before she could answer, someone in the audience spoke up. Wait, so George is really getting married, in the next room? Another person asked, is that for real? Let's go check it out. If they've been together for 5 years and still aren't married, but now they're both marrying someone else, it's pretty shocking. As the crowd surged toward the exit, Willow's heart raced, though she knew George was probably lying. Still, she couldn't stop herself from feeling anxious. She tried to follow the crowd, but Makoto grabbed her arm and shook his head. Willow, don't go. Today is our wedding day. So many of our friends and family are here. What would I do if you left me? Willow gripped his hand. I'll just be a moment. George has always been so composed. I'm worried about him. And what about me? Don't you worry about me. I'm dying. Makoto's violent coughs made his words more urgent. Willow didn't even look at him as she said, I'm sorry. I have to check. What if George really is marrying someone else? I'll regret it forever if I don't find out. Makoto huffed. I'm going with you. Makoto and Willow both left the stage, leaving the guests baffled, while the host stood frozen, unsure of how to proceed. It was an unprecedented situation. Both the bride and groom had left the ceremony. Back in my hall, the auspicious time for the ceremony had arrived, but the bride was still missing. Although the Sue family kept apologizing, saying Anna would be there soon, the audience was starting to murmur. Is this wedding just a joke? Did George do this on purpose to mess with Willow? Yeah, what's going on? Are we eating here or at Willow's side? I think we should go to Willow's. At least they have a bride. Makoto had been worried that Willow might see me marrying someone else and change her mind. But now, hearing these comments, he didn't need to worry. No bride had appeared on my side, and he could make a scene without hesitation. Wong, you don't need to do this, Makoto said, walking over with an exaggerated, dramatic expression. What's the point of making a spectacle of this? Just to embarrass Willow? Willow hadn't seen the bride yet, so she relaxed a little. She thought Makoto had a point, so she turned to me. George, don't do this. Just come down from the stage and wait for me at home. I scoffed. Wait for you? Willow, what makes you think I'll wait for you? I've waited 5 years, and now, what's the result? You're marrying someone else. George, what do you want me to do for you to come back? Willow's face was pale with frustration. I looked at her with cold irony. I'll come back after my bride arrives and after we've completed the ceremony. Stop pretending. George, there's no bride. That's why she hasn't shown up yet. Makoto stepped forward and grabbed Willow's hand. Willow, I think he's just trying to mess with you. He's acting like this just to get a rise out of you. Let's just ignore him and go back. Okay. Willow, trusting Makoto's words, turned to leave. I called out, Willow, since you're here, why not have a drink at my wedding? I walked off the stage, poured a drink, and handed it to her. Willow didn't take it. Instead, she looked at me as if I had lost my mind. George, come to your senses. This is pointless. If you want to put on a show, you should have at least hired a bride. You can't do this alone. My father spoke up, his patience running out. What show? This isn't a show. He finally had enough and said, my son is getting married today. If you want to stay and have some wedding drinks, you're welcome. But if you're just here to make trouble, then leave. Willow furrowed her brow and asked, Father, at your age, you're still playing along with this farce? I sighed. Dad, just ignore her. I took a deep breath. Whatever. Anna hasn't shown up yet, so Willow won't believe I'm actually getting married. But it doesn't matter whether she believes me or not. It's irrelevant now. Willow said, all right, I don't have time for this anymore. George, if you're really getting married today, then I wish you a happy wedding. She stopped arguing, taking the drink from my hand, and turned to leave. Makoto smiled smugly, looking back at me as if victorious. But then, the door suddenly swung open. A woman, covered in dust and dirt, her clothes torn and disheveled, walked in. My parents gasped, Anna, you're finally here. I looked up. The woman I was about to marry had finally arrived, but her appearance was far from what I expected. Dirty, ragged, and not at all the image of a bride. Although I couldn't clearly see her face, her presence was undeniably remarkable. My father had mentioned she was a soldier, and her poise and figure confirmed his words. Not bad. After all. Chapter 8. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. I'm late. Before Anna could explain, Makoto already burst out laughing. A beggar. George, are you sure you want to marry a beggar? His voice was loud enough for everyone to hear clearly. Willow, irritated, snapped, George, if you want to provoke me, at least don't bring a beggar to the rescue. Do you think this is funny? Anna glanced down at herself. She had just been in a car accident, having saved an elderly woman from under a car, which explained her disheveled state. But to be mistaken for a beggar was a bit much. She didn't bother to explain. Instead, she lifted her gaze and looked directly at her groom. His noble demeanor and handsome features were undeniable, but his character, she wasn't so sure. I said, even if she's a beggar, I'm still marrying her today. Without hesitation, I walked over to Anna and took her hand. Willow, let me introduce you. This is my wife, Anna. Anna. Willow froze, her mind racing. She vaguely remembered me mentioning once that I had a betrothed from childhood named Anna. At that time, she never took it seriously, assuming I would never leave her. But now, George was actually marrying that woman. She stammered, George, stop playing, come with me. Willow's voice quivered as she reached for my arm, trying to pull me away. I stood still, unmovable. Anna swiftly shook off Willow's hand. She said, are you out of your mind? Can't you see we're here to get married? Anna had long heard about my 5-year relationship with Willow, and it was obvious that this was the woman in question. Anna gave Willow a quick once-over. Honestly, she didn't seem that special. It seemed my new husband didn't have the best taste. Willow asked, who are you? What right do you have to speak to me? Willow finally started panicking, her heart racing, her legs going weak. She had always assumed I was just putting on a show, but the realization that I was truly marrying another woman made her anxious. Anna replied, can't you tell? I'm George's wife. Anna casually draped her arm around mine. Seeing her touch me, Willow's face turned ashen. Willow's eyes flashed with fury, and she warned, don't touch him. She nearly lunged at Anna, but my father couldn't take it anymore. He stepped forward, his voice cold. Willow, this is my son's wedding. What do you think you're doing? Uncle, George can't marry another woman. He's my boyfriend. She tried to explain, but my dad sneered. He's your boyfriend. Then who is this next to you? Miss Lou, we all value face here. Today is my son's big day, and I don't want to escalate things. You should leave now. Uncle, she's just a beggar. Are you really going to let George marry a beggar? A beggar? Who dares call our General Sue a beggar? A group of soldiers suddenly marched in, standing straight and looking sharp. Everyone in the room was stunned, including me. I couldn't believe it either. This woman was a general. No way. Willow shook her head in disbelief. George, you can't be marrying another woman. You said you'd only marry me. I was speechless. You also said you'd only marry me. I sighed. You've forgotten, haven't you? I swore that if you ever betrayed me, I would marry someone else. Willow, wasn't that our promise? Willow finally realized I wasn't joking. Her eyes widened in fear. Sorry, George. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I won't marry Makoto. I won't see him again. Please forgive me just this once. Give me another chance. Please? Someone, take her away. Anna spoke up, and her subordinates immediately moved in to surround Willow. Anna then turned to me, seeking my opinion. Honey, what do you think? The word honey made my scalp tingle. I turned to meet Anna's gaze. Her gentle eyes made my heart skip a beat, but I quickly regained my composure. Yeah, I replied, nodding. I didn't want to look at Willow anymore. I just wanted to end this farce. George, I was wrong. Please forgive me. She wouldn't leave, clinging to my hand, refusing to let go. Do you really want to marry someone you don't love? You love me. You've loved me for 5 years. Don't you remember? Yes, I loved her for 5 long years. How many nights had I spent waiting for her to come around? Before Makoto showed up, we had been happy, but this was her choice. I had given her a chance, and she hadn't valued it. I looked at her, but said nothing. Anna saw my expression, and her voice grew firm. Take her away. Willow was dragged toward the exit, falling at my feet in desperation. George, please, don't marry her. Marry me instead. We can get married right now. I promise. I had never seen Willow so desperate. If it had been before, I might have felt pity, but now, I didn't even want to look at her. I closed my eyes and turned away, slowly walking toward the stage. I addressed the crowd. Everyone, today I'm marrying Willow. My wedding is here, and hers is next door. Many of you are friends of both of us, so you can choose which wedding to attend. If you want to stay, please enjoy a drink before you leave. If not, feel free to go now. As I finished speaking, Anna's people were already pulling Willow out, but Willow still refused to leave, shouting and causing a scene. Makoto shouted at her, Willow, stop. Can't you see he's serious about marrying someone else? Let's go back and get married. Go away. Get lost. Willow's eyes were bloodshot, and she shoved Makoto aside. She growled, I won't marry you. The only person I will marry is George. But he doesn't want you. He's marrying someone else. Makoto furrowed his brow. He had thought I was here to compete for Willow, but he had underestimated me. I wasn't just trying to steal her from him. I was marrying another woman on the same day. He realized that Willow had loved me all along, but I wasn't interested anymore. Willow screamed, no, I don't believe it. He loves me. He won't marry anyone else. Willow continued to make a scene, but the Sue family could no longer bear it. Chapter 9. This young lady, if you keep making a scene, don't blame us for being rude. Willow ignored the warning, and my mother was the first to slap her. Willow, I've been patient enough with you. You've been with my son for 5 years, and you didn't want to marry him. Fine, but then you lied to him, telling him the wedding was delayed, only to use his wedding venue to marry another man. My son treated you so well, and yet you kept deceiving him. If you don't stop now, I'll beat you up for my son. Willow responded, her face swollen from the slap. I'm not leaving. I won't leave. I want to marry George, and, if you agree, I'll marry him today. I swear I'll be good to him for the rest of my life. Despite the blood at the corner of her mouth, Willow refused to leave. Anna's father was no slouch either. With a single glance, several people came forward and forcefully dragged Willow out. Makoto spoke up at this point. George, are you just going to stand there and watch Willow get beaten? She's gone through all this for you, and you're fine with it. I walked over to Willow, whose face was a mess of bruises and blood, my expression unreadable. Anna stepped in front of me, saying, if you need help, just say the word. I shook my head. Thanks, but I want to handle this myself. George. Willow's voice was weak, but when she saw me, she still managed a faint smile. She said, marry me. Let's get married right now. Okay. I answered coldly. Willow, don't be foolish. I don't love you anymore, and I won't marry you. My words shattered whatever hope Willow had left. No way. You don't love me. How could you not love me? She stammered in disbelief. Makoto, trying to stir things up further, shouted, George, I get it now. You've been with this woman all along, haven't you? You're the one who betrayed Willow first, and now you're pretending like you haven't. I smiled, unaffected. I betrayed Willow first. I continued, both my family and the Sue family can vouch that Anna and I are meeting for the first time today. We've never met before. As for you, Mr. Ito, you knew full well that Willow and I were a couple, but you still tried to get her to marry you. If anyone is guilty of betrayal, it's her, not me. Makoto tried to deny it. Willow and I are clean. There's nothing between us. She's only marrying me to fulfill my last wish. We haven't done anything to hurt you. I took a deep breath and turned to Willow. Willow, I said softly, you tell me, have you ever done anything to hurt me? Willow froze, looking guilty as she avoided my gaze. After a long silence, she finally shook her head. No, George, I swear, Makoto and I are innocent. We haven't done anything. I only love you, she insisted. Hearing her words, I felt the last shred of hope I had for her completely vanish. Looking at the swollen face before me, I realized how wrong I had been about this woman all these years. I closed my eyes and handed my phone to the wedding planner. Please put these photos on the big screen. I said. The planner was momentarily shocked when she saw the photos but quickly did as I asked. Everyone in the room was confused at first, until the big screen displayed a series of intimate photos, followed by the provocative messages Makoto had sent me. Each photo and message appeared one after another, flashing before everyone's eyes. Makoto's face drained of color as he realized I had saved everything, including the screenshots of his messages. The guests murmured in shock. Oh my god, how could this happen? Willow was completely outrageous. She claimed they were innocent, but they've even slept together. What innocence is there? At that moment, Willow and Makoto became the target of everyone's scorn. Willow, her face battered and swollen, stood frozen in place, her mind unable to process what was happening. After what felt like an eternity, she turned to Makoto, grabbing his wrist and screaming, "Makoto, I told you not to provoke him. Are you crazy? You sent those photos to George." Her appearance was terrifying, and Makoto finally seemed to feel the weight of his actions. "I'm sorry, Willow. I love you so much. I didn't know what else to do. Please forgive me," he begged. I turned to Willow and asked, "Do you have anything to say, Willow?" I was exhausted. I really was. I never wanted it to escalate this far, but Willow had been so stubborn, refusing to acknowledge the evidence in front of her. As long as I didn't show it to her, she would never stop. Willow fell silent, her body crumpling to the floor as she stared at the ground, not saying a word. My father ordered for her to be dragged out, and this time, Willow made no attempt to resist. Chapter 10. Anna hadn't been involved in the chaos earlier, but when I saw her again, she had changed into the white wedding dress she was supposed to wear, her face freshly made up. Only then did I get a proper look at my future wife, and she was beautiful. Anna stood in front of me, radiating brightness and warmth. From the moment she entered, her impression of George had only gotten better and better, especially when the photos were shown on the big screen earlier. I had to admit, it felt really satisfying. She said, "All the unwanted guests are gone. Can we continue now?" Anna extended her hand to me. I nodded and took it in mine. She asked, "You won't regret marrying me, right?" "No," I replied, turning to look at her. "This is my decision. I won't regret it." "Good." Anna smiled softly. "I won't regret it either." The wedding ceremony went smoothly, but soon, there was a loud knocking sound from outside the door. Someone said that Willow was still outside causing a scene. She had finally realized I was marrying someone else and couldn't let go, trying to force her way in to stop the wedding. But the Sue family had blocked her completely. She couldn't get in. After the ceremony ended, Anna and I went around to toast the guests. When we reached the table with my and Willow's friends, they all said, "George, you found a great woman. Willow is really awful." "Yeah, I can't believe today was supposed to be your wedding, but it ended up like it was her wedding with Makoto. It's too much." "George, congratulations on your wedding. Don't even think about going back to her." I smiled and said, "Don't worry, I won't." I drank the contents of my glass in one go and looked toward the door. Going back. I'd never go back to Willow again in my life. The wedding lasted from early morning until about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I was exhausted. After seeing off our friends, the wedding finally came to a close. My parents needed to stay and socialize with relatives and friends, so Anna and I decided to head back first. I asked, "Can we leave through the back door?" Just as I was about to open the large door, I stopped. I was worried Willow might still be waiting by the door. I didn't want to see her again. Anna noticed my concern and nodded. "Okay, we'll go wherever you want. You're my husband. I'll follow you." She leaned in closer, her pretty face nearly brushing mine. My face instantly turned red. Anna couldn't help but laugh lightly. "You're so easily embarrassed. Doesn't seem like someone who's been in a 5-year relationship," I replied. "What about you? Miss Sue is so beautiful. You must have had many boyfriends, right?" "Miss Sue?" Anna raised an eyebrow, asking, "Who exactly are you calling?" I felt embarrassed and muttered, "I'm just not used to it yet." I lowered my head, not finishing my sentence. Anna didn't let it slide, though. She asked, "Not used to what?" I scratched my head. "Not used to calling you that." "What?" I sighed. "Wife." Anna let out a soft laugh and then cheerfully replied, "Husband." I was at a loss for words, ready to tease her back, but Anna already took my hand in hers. She said, "All right, if you want to flirt, we can do that at home. It's not good to do it here. We've got decades ahead of us. Husband, we can take our time." Anna and I left through the back door, and just as we got into the car, I caught a glimpse of Willow chasing after us in the rearview mirror. She still hadn't given up. As she saw us about to leave, she ran after the car, shouting, "George, don't leave. I was wrong. I really was wrong. Please forgive me." Chapter 11. Behind Willow was Makoto, chasing after her. "Willow, wait for me." Anna glanced at me and asked, "Should we?" I cut her off, saying, "No need." Before she could finish, I interrupted her. I turned away, my expression blank, and spoke to the driver in a calm tone. Drive. The driver pressed the accelerator, and the car sped off. Willow didn't catch up. Standing motionless for a long time, Makoto ran over, out of breath, and grabbed her. Willow, George is married. Please stop chasing him. Let's go back. The guests are waiting for us to get married. Married? What marriage? Willow sneered. Can't you see? George is gone. He's with someone else. Makoto sighed. Yes, George is gone, but you still have me. You promised me. You were going to marry me today, didn't you? Makoto smoothed his disheveled hair and forced a smile. He said, let's go back. We'll get married right away. Willow replied coldly. Go away. I'm not marrying you. Ignoring him, Willow walked forward, like a zombie, her eyes dull and aimless. Seeing her like this, Makoto panicked. Please, don't do this. George doesn't want you, but I do. Willow, don't you remember? I'm dying. You promised me you'd marry me before I die. Willow looked at him coldly. I don't love you. I love George. If I marry anyone, it will be him. She blinked and added, without George, I'll die. Before Makoto could respond, she collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Makoto was startled. Willow. Inside the car, I turned to look out the window. Feeling mentally and physically drained, I closed my eyes, hoping to get some rest. Anna casually tossed a blanket at me. Cover up. You'll catch a cold. I caught the blanket and smiled at her. Thanks. Where are we going now? She replied. Back to the Sue family, to get my stuff. About half an hour later, the car finally stopped in front of the Sue family's house. Before I could get out, the door was already opened by Anna. Come on, husband, help me pack my things. We're going to our new home. I had bought a house, intending to live there one day with Willow, but now, it would be with a stranger. I stepped out of the car, looking at the mansion in front of me. My brow furrowed involuntarily. This house was even bigger than mine. I glanced at Anna, curious. My family wasn't poor, but we weren't rich either. How did my dad arrange a marriage contract with such a wealthy family? Anna noticed my gaze and said, what are you looking at? It's not mine, it's my father's. He's rich. She gave a playful smile. I'm poor, though. I'll have to rely on you to take care of me now. After packing, Anna followed me to our new home. The interior was black and white, and as soon as we stepped inside, the coldness of the decor hit me. Anna looked around and noticed that even the bed sheets and curtains were in black and white. She stood still, with no desire to go further inside. I asked, what's wrong? Noticing her expression, I shrugged. Don't like it. Big man's room. Isn't it just like this? She shook her head, suddenly looking more lively. I don't like it. She asked, do you have some free time? I replied, what do you want to do? I stepped back a few steps, a bad feeling creeping up on me. She smiled mischievously and said, I think you should come with me to a place. Anna took me to a shopping mall, where she picked out some cute little decorations and some beautiful bedding sets. Everything was in feminine colors, bright and colorful, and looking at it made me feel a headache coming on. I said, we've been married for only a few hours, and you're already taking over my bedroom. She replied, you don't like it. Anna turned to ask me, Mr. Wong, do you want a divorce? I can arrange it anytime. I was speechless. Who made me marry such a fiery little pepper? I said, you're pretty sharp-tongued. She smirked and said, you're not bad yourself. How come you're not like this in front of Willow? Hearing Willow's name made my mood suddenly sour. She noticed, but then said, forget it. If you don't like it, we won't buy it. She started to walk away, but I quickly stopped her. Buy. Store clerk, wrap up everything my wife picked and charge it to my card. Seeing me take out my card with such a bold gesture, Anna couldn't help but laugh again. She said, aren't you afraid I'll buy you poor? I smiled. Not afraid. Buy whatever you want. Good. You said it, she replied. Anna bought a lot of things, including her toiletries. Chapter 12. When we returned to my home, Anna immediately started redecorating the room. She replaced the bedding, the towels in the bathroom, and even the slippers I had been wearing for a long time. The new slippers were pink and blue, matching couples slippers. It seemed like all the toiletries had become couple-themed as well. While Anna busied herself around the room, I stood silently by, watching her. Although we had been dating for 5 years, I had always been used to doing everything myself. Now, suddenly, a woman, my legally wedded wife, was taking over my duties, and my emotions were conflicted. Once she was done, Anna looked a bit frustrated. She recalled how, when she heard her father calling her to hurry and come back for the wedding, she had hesitated. After all, she had never met me, and she had heard that I had been in a 5-year relationship with my girlfriend, Willow. For many years, I had refused to marry her. Who would have thought that I would suddenly agree to marry her? At first, Anna didn't want to come, but after hearing that I was going to get married on the same day as my girlfriend, she found it intriguing and quickly rushed back. Now that she had finally met me, she found that I was even more interesting than she had imagined. She said, all done. Once everything was tidied up, it was already dark. Anna yawned, then climbed into bed and said, "Let's sleep." I watched her lie down, and then it hit me. We were married, and technically, we should sleep in the same bed, but it was still hard for me to accept sharing a bed with someone I had only just met. On the very first day, "You go ahead and sleep. I'm not tired yet," I said, walking over to the sofa to sit down and pretend to read. Anna saw through my pretense. She smiled, then got up from the bed. "All right, no more teasing. I know you're really tired. Get some rest," she said. She walked out and went to the guest room. I sighed in relief and was about to fall asleep when my phone rang. Seeing the flashing number, I tightened my grip on the phone. It was a call from Willow. I didn't want to answer, but the call kept ringing, so I finally picked up. "Hello? George, if you still have a conscience, hurry up and come to the hospital. Willow is dying." It wasn't Willow's voice, but Makoto's. I was stunned. "What did you say?" "Third hospital. You can come if you want," Makoto said. Before hanging up, I sat there, my mind in a complete fog. I didn't want to see Willow again. I never wanted to see her for the rest of my life. But then I thought about the scene at the wedding earlier, where Sue's family and my mom had been trying to handle Willow. If something happened to her, both the Sue family and my family would have trouble. I couldn't just ignore it. So, I decided to go to the hospital to check on Willow. Anna saw me heading out and frowned. "Where are you going?" "Willow's dying. I need to go check on her," I replied. Seeing the urgency on my face, Anna snorted coldly. "Of course, you still can't let her go." I explained my reasoning. "If you're free, you can come with me. If not, I'll go alone," she replied. "I'll go with you. I want to see what trick she's pulling." We both arrived at the hospital. Willow had just been wheeled out of the operating room, unconscious. Makoto, still in his suit, sat motionless by her bed. When he saw me, he charged over, shouting, "Why? Why did you have to ruin my and Willow's wedding? Look at Willow, lying there unconscious because of you. Look at how she won't marry me. How she's still obsessed with you. Are you proud of yourself?" Ignoring his crazed outburst, I frowned and walked to Willow's bedside. Her face was pale, her eyes tightly shut. She really did look like she was dead. I asked, "If the surgery was successful, will she be okay?" "George. George." Her voice was faint, calling out my name. Willow's face was filled with pain, and her hands were flailing in the air, as if trying to grab something. Makoto quickly reached out, grabbing her hand in excitement. "Willow, I'm here," he said. Willow responded weakly. "George, you're not George." She yanked her hand out of Makoto's grasp, and her emotions started to escalate. A nurse walked in and said, "Didn't you hear the patient calling for George? Which one of you is George? Go and comfort her. Can't you see how agitated she is? Are you trying to let her die?" I sighed and walked over, gently taking Willow's hand. "I'm here," I said. Immediately, Willow's grip tightened around my hand. Hearing my voice seemed to calm her down. Makoto, seeing this, turned away. His eyes gradually dimmed, and he left with heavy footsteps. The room was now just me, Anna, and Willow. Willow still held my hand tightly, and I knew that tonight, I probably wouldn't be able to leave. "Anna, if you're tired, you can go home first," I said. She replied, "It's fine, I'm not tired." Anna stretched her long legs and laid down on a nearby chair. "I'll stay here with you tonight." I saw her close her eyes, and I didn't push her further. After spending the whole night with Willow, I leaned by the bed, my legs and arms completely numb. When I finally opened my eyes, I found that Willow had woken up and was staring at me with deep affection. I tried to pull my hand away, but she wouldn't let go, gripping it tightly. My right arm was numb, and I finally said, "Let go of me." "I won't, George. I'll never let go of your hand for the rest of my life," she said, trying with all her might to sit up in bed, but she was too weak to do so. I sighed, my hands numb. "You're not going to hold on to me forever, right?" She had no choice but to release my hand. Once she did, I stood up to leave, but Willow panicked. "George, where are you going?" "I'm going to the bathroom." Willow looked at me with longing and asked, "George, you forgive me now, don't you? You've stayed with me all night. That means you still love me, right? You still care about me." If I hadn't seen her in that bar, entwined with Makoto, or known that as soon as I left our home, she was eager to get into bed with Makoto, I might have believed her, but now, I just found it laughable. "Willow, don't misunderstand. I'm here because I'm worried about you. If something happens to you, it could affect both the Sue and Wong families. That's all." I left those words hanging, then went to the bathroom. Willow almost jumped out of bed, but stopped when Anna appeared before her. Chapter 13. When Anna saw Willow, her expression immediately darkened. "Anna, what are you doing here?" Anna replied, arms crossed, glaring coldly at the woman. "Can't you tell?" she said. "So, Willow, George has been turning me down over and over again just for you?" Willow asked. George turned you down for me. A deep sense of guilt surged within Willow. She had always thought George had never been interested in anyone else, that no one could love him the way she did. She never imagined he might already be engaged, and to a woman who was even better than her. In that moment, she realized just how wrong she had been. If she could turn back time, she would never have agreed to marry Makoto. Anna said, "All right, you're awake now. My husband and I are going home to rest." She didn't want to waste time with Willow any longer. She grabbed my hand as I came out of the bathroom and said, "Let's go. I'm tired." I was ready to leave too. "Don't go, George. Don't leave me." Willow suddenly fell from the bed in a burst of desperation. Weak and unable to move, she simply crawled on the floor. Seeing her like this, I frowned, saying, "Willow, why bother?" She pleaded. "George, don't leave, please. I know I was wrong. Don't go. I beg you." Anna's anger flared up instantly when she saw Willow in such a pathetic state. She marched over, grabbing Willow by the arm and roughly throwing her back onto the bed. "Don't make me say it again. George is my husband now. Don't interfere with him, or I won't be so nice." Without waiting for a response, Anna pulled me away. She walked quickly, and I had to take a few hurried steps to catch up. Once we were in the car, Anna turned to me and asked, "You're not going to be stupid and go back to her, right?" The woman in front of me was beautiful, but her words were sharp as a knife. I replied helplessly, "No, why would I go back to her?" "Good. Just remember, I'm your wife." Anna leaned in, her face so close that I could see every detail. My heart began to race uncontrollably. I asked, "What do you want?" Before I could even react, she leaned in closer, terrified. I closed my eyes. Then, the sound of my seatbelt clicking made me snap back to reality. Anna glanced at my flushed face, a smile tugging at her lips as she sat up straight. She said, "You thought I was going to kiss you." I quickly turned my head away, stammering, "No." She smirked. "You should kiss me." "Why?" I asked, confused. She replied, "Which good wife spends an entire night with her husband, even when it's for his ex-girlfriend?" Seeing her upset expression, I lowered my head and apologized. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just didn't want anything to happen to her, in case it affected my dad." She said, "Then kiss me, and I'll forgive you." Anna pointed to her cheek. "Kiss me here." I looked at her, then planted a quick kiss on her cheek. As soon as my lips touched her skin, Anna's heart began to race wildly. "Damn, it's been too long since she's been close to a man," she said. "You must be hungry. Let's go have breakfast." She coughed awkwardly, trying to hide her flustered state. After George left, Willow felt like she was dying. She tried to get out of bed, but the nurse stopped her. "Miss Lou, you're still recovering. Your body isn't ready. Please stay in bed." Willow replied, "I need to find George. I have to find him. Don't stop me." The nurse responded, "You mean the young man who was with you last night? He's already left with his wife. The man who brought you here was called by the doctor. He'll be back soon." The nurse's words made Willow's mind clear for a moment. Wife? His wife? George was married. He really got married. No, as long as they didn't register the marriage, they weren't truly married. Willow shouted, "She's not his wife. I am. I'm George's wife." Her emotions surged, and the nurse couldn't stop her. Just then, Makoto entered, holding a report, his voice filled with excitement. "Willow, you're pregnant." It felt like a lightning bolt hit Willow, and she froze on the bed. She looked at Makoto in disbelief, asking, "What did you say? You're pregnant?" "Willow, you're carrying our child." Makoto rushed to hold her, overwhelmed with emotion. He had been waiting for this moment for so long. Willow shook her head. "Impossible. I've been taking the pill." She clenched his arm, a dark expression clouding her face. Makoto, biting his lip, lowered his head and explained softly, "There was one time I forgot to remind you to take the pill. I thought it would be fine, but I didn't expect this." "Willow, you're pregnant." Despite the pain in his arm, Makoto didn't care. "Willow, let's get married again." "Okay, now that you're pregnant, your belly will start to show soon. Let's get married as soon as possible." Before he could finish, Willow shoved him away. "No, I told you, I won't marry you." Her face turned cold, her eyes like ice as she glared at him. She said slowly, "Besides, didn't you get cancer and are supposed to die within a month? I won't let my child be born without a father." At that moment, someone walked in and asked, "Who has cancer?" The doctor entered to check on her, overhearing Willow's words. "Miss Lou, did you say Mr. Ito has cancer?" Willow nodded. "Yes, he has cancer and is dying," the doctor replied. "No, Miss Lou, I think you're mistaken. Mr. Ito is in good health, and your baby is also healthy. You just had surgery, but with proper rest, you and the baby will be fine." Willow finally understood. It was all a lie, just a trick Makoto had played on her to get her to marry him. Anger surged within her, and she knocked everything off the table in fury. "You lied to me, Makoto. How dare you deceive me?" Makoto, frightened, hurriedly tried to explain. It's not like that. I didn't know. It was the doctor's misdiagnosis. I didn't lie to you. The doctors, seeing the situation, quickly left the room. The large room was now left with just Makoto and Willow. Makoto kept his head down, too afraid to speak. Willow glared at him, her voice filled with venom. Why did you lie to me? Makoto quickly explained. I wasn't trying to hurt you. Willow, I love you too much. I didn't want to see you marry George, so I lied about being sick. Willow gritted her teeth. You lied about having cancer so I would tell George to postpone the wedding behind my back. You sent our intimate photos and provocative messages to him. You even purposely didn't remind me to take my medication, making me pregnant with your child. Makoto, how could I have not seen what kind of person you are? The Makoto of 5 years ago had been pure and kind. Nothing like the manipulative, dark figure standing before her now. Comparing him to George, George seemed like a saint. She regretted everything, wishing she could slap herself. She said, "Get away from me, you bastard. I never want to see you again. I'll abort this baby." Makoto, stunned, questioned whether he had heard her correctly. He remembered asking Willow before if she liked kids, and she had said she did, especially if it was their child. Now, she was saying she would get rid of their baby. Chapter 14. Willow, do you even know what you're saying? The child inside you is my flesh and blood. How can you say you're going to get rid of him? Willow raised her eyes, her expression emotionless, as cold as a machine with no feelings. She said, to be precise, he's not even a child yet. It's only been less than a month, just a cell. Her lips parted, but the words that came out were cruel and heartless. Cell. Makoto couldn't believe what he was hearing. He shook his head and took a step back, his voice shaking. Willow, that's our child. How can you say something like that? Just then, a woman's voice came from the door. Child? What child? Willow's sisters had come to visit. As soon as they entered and saw Makoto's heartbroken expression, they understood what was going on. Willow, you and Makoto are having a baby. Makoto said, please, you have to help me. Desperate, Makoto didn't know who else to turn to, so he pleaded with them. The sisters were startled by his distress. George, get up. Don't kneel in front of me. Makoto, in agony, said, Willow wants to abort our child. His voice trembled with pain. Please, help me talk to her. Please. The sisters gathered around Willow's bed, trying to persuade her. Willow, are you out of your mind? George is married now. You two are done. You're pregnant now. Why don't you just marry him and have the baby? Didn't you always want a child? Willow replied, her tone icy. I want to have George's child, not his. Her face darkened, and her voice turned cold as ice. If you're my best friends, stay out of my business. But, the sisters were sympathetic toward Makoto, but they knew the truth. Willow had always loved George above all else. Even though she had made a mistake and hurt him, George was always the one in her heart. Now that she was trying to win him back, there was no way she could keep this child. They stopped trying to persuade her. One of her friends said, all right, you rest up. We'll head back for now. As they prepared to leave, Makoto panicked and refused to go. At the door, several of the Liu family's bodyguards appeared, blocking his way. Mr. Ito, please come with us. No, I'm not going. Makoto shook his head, determined to talk to Willow, but he could see that she had made up her mind. She was not going to keep the child. Makoto said, Willow, please don't do this. Keep the child, and I'll leave right away. Willow coldly replied, I'm going to see a doctor today and get an abortion. I'll have the child removed right away. Her icy words shattered Makoto's last hope. He collapsed onto the ground, too weak to fight anymore. In the end, 2 men dragged him out, and Willow was sent back to the operating room. Makoto hadn't expected this. He thought he could use the child to force Willow to marry him, but he only learned she was pregnant an hour ago. Now, in that short time, the child was going to be taken from him. His eyes red and his heart breaking, Makoto helplessly cried out, I need to see Willow. I need to see her. Please, spare our child. One of Willow's men, seeing his despair, tried to comfort him. Mr. Ito, you're still young. You'll have a wife and children one day. But before he could say more, Makoto, overwhelmed with grief, fainted, losing all consciousness. Chapter 15. When Makoto woke up, Willow had already finished her surgery. Willow sent someone to deliver a plane ticket to him. Miss Liu bought you a ticket for this afternoon's flight. This afternoon, Makoto sneered. He didn't expect Willow to hate him so much. She had just undergone surgery, and yet she wanted him completely gone from her life. I want to see her. Sorry. Miss Liu said she won't see you. The men locked the door to the hospital room and added, when the time comes, I'll take you to the airport. Makoto stared at the plane ticket in his hand, and suddenly burst into maniacal laughter. But as he laughed, his tears started to fall. I shouldn't have come back. I shouldn't have. After dealing with Makoto's situation, Willow was soon able to get out of bed. Ignoring the doctor's advice, she dragged her aching body back to the home she shared with George. The house was empty, cold, and silent. George was gone, and all his belongings had disappeared. A sharp pain pierced her heart as she remembered the gift he had given her on their 5th anniversary. She painfully climbed upstairs and found the box. Tearing off the tape, Willow impatiently opened it, but there was no gift inside, just a quiet wedding invitation. Her hands trembling, she opened the invitation and saw the words clearly written on it. It was dated October 1st. George was getting married, and the bride's name wasn't hers. It was Anna. Willow squeezed the invitation in her hand, her entire body collapsing to the floor. So, George had known about her affair with Makoto all along. He had already decided he wouldn't marry her. When had he made that decision? No wonder. When she saw him in the hospital, he had said he was getting married at the beginning of next month. He hadn't been joking. It was true. He had already planned to leave her. George. Her eyes turned red, and Willow broke down in tears. This time, it was real pain. She glanced at the empty room one last time before stumbling down the stairs. Is there anything left here that George left behind? The servant hesitated, thinking for a while before shaking his head. He said, Mr. Wang threw away all the things you gave him, and he took his own things with him. We've cleaned the room, there's nothing else. Willow shook her head. No, there's still something. She looked down at the invitation in her hand. She never imagined that the last thing she had related to George would be his wedding invitation. Miss, weren't you supposed to be getting married to Mr. Wang? Why hasn't he come back with you? The servant seemed puzzled. Not only had Willow returned without him, but she also seemed so weak now. Willow replied, Yes, I'm going to get George back. The servant's words gave Willow some strength. She ordered for the address of the Su family to be found and immediately had a car driver there. At the door, she said, I'm looking for Anna. The servant looked at her warily and said, Miss is not home. She left early this morning to go to the horse farm with the young master. The horse farm? Yes. Miss said they were going abroad for a vacation soon. There are a lot of horses there, and the young master doesn't know how to ride. So Miss is teaching him first. Willow gritted her teeth. Honeymoon. Her anger surged within her as she quickly got into the car and headed toward the horse farm without hesitation. Chapter 16. The air at the horse farm was fresh, and the view was vast, which lightened my mood. Come here. A woman waved at me from a distance, and for a moment, I was in a daze. This confident girl, with every movement she made, exuded an alluring charm. She wore a riding outfit, holding a pony by the reins, a smile playing on her lips, leaving a group of men around her mesmerized. Some of them walked up to her, asking for her phone number and WeChat. I frowned, my face darkening immediately. I walked over quickly, took the man's phone, and punched in a string of numbers. Here's the number. Thank you. The man was overjoyed, running off happily. Anna looked at me curiously. Did you really give him your number? Yes, I said, raising an eyebrow. What? Do you want to give him yours? She snorted. Are you jealous? Anna seemed pleased with my reaction. She smiled at me, then pointed at the pony beside her. Do you like it? Yes. I petted its mane, and the pony shook its head comfortably. She said, Name it. I hesitated. Isn't that a bit much? Can I really just name a horse here? It's my horse. I'm giving it to you. Really? I didn't expect Anna to have a horse to give. I was excited and said, Then let's call it Starlight. Will you be its little brother? It's a female. Then it'll be a little sister. Do as you wish. After Anna helped me onto the horse, she spent the next half hour teaching me how to ride. Eventually, I barely managed to get the hang of it. She asked, Is it fun? Very fun. Then take me riding with you. She climbed onto my horse. The pony's temperament was a bit wild. As soon as we mounted, we barely took a few steps before almost falling off. Ah! Anna screamed, and we both fell off the horse. Are you okay? I hurriedly protected her, anxiously checking her for injuries. Anna's cheeks turned red under my gaze. I'm fine. Just think I sprained my ankle, she said. I'll take you inside to rest. Just as I was about to carry her inside, Willow appeared. George. Seeing her, my brows immediately furrowed. Aren't you supposed to still be in the hospital? What are you doing here? Willow looked disheveled, and when she saw me holding Anna, her heart ached even more. George, I miss you. Will you come back with me? There were a lot of people around, all from the same circle. Everyone knew Willow, and no one had ever seen her like this. They were all surprised. I said, Willow, haven't I made myself clear enough? I'm married now. Go back with me. Back where? She replied. Back to our home. Willow's eyes were red and swollen. Anna spoke up. Miss Lu, have you developed Alzheimer's or something? Anna's tone turned cold, and her aura became powerful. George is my husband. We're already married. He won't go with you. Not now. Not ever. Understand? Shut up. Willow glared at her. I'm talking to George. It's none of your business. Anna fired back. Oh really? She raised an eyebrow, her irritation obvious. None of my business. Let me show you just how much it is. Before I could react, Anna had already leaned in and kissed me. I didn't expect this, and I froze in shock, but she whispered in my ear, "Don't move. If you do, I'll get angry." I stood still, letting her kiss me. At the sight of this, Willow's anger nearly exploded. "Anna, let him go. I won't let you touch him." She rushed forward, trying to pull us apart. Anna simply sidestepped, causing Willow to lose her balance and fall to the ground. She rolled a few times before coming to a stop, looking utterly disheveled. The people around started whispering and pointing at Willow. "She deserves it. She did something wrong, and now she regrets it. Too late now. Late love is like a weed. Too little. Too late." Anna looked down at her and sneered. "Miss Lou, I'll warn you one last time. Don't ever come between me and George. He's my husband now, and for this lifetime, he will only ever be mine. You can't take him away." Willow struggled to get up. She said, "Getting married doesn't mean you can't get divorced. Anna, don't get too smug." "George loves me," Anna replied. "Do you know that military marriages are protected by law?" Anna paused, thinking, "Your actions right now are considered as interfering with a military marriage. You could be facing jail time for this. Do you understand?" I couldn't help but laugh. Anna's brain was working fast as always. Willow asked, "George, do you really not have any lingering feelings for me?" Willow didn't want to talk to Anna. She looked at me, hoping I would change my mind. I sighed, standing firm, taking a deep breath. I spoke calmly. "Willow, I'll say this one last time. We're done. Completely done. From the day Makoto returned, when you secretly went to the airport to welcome him back, to when you postponed our wedding and then accepted his proposal, to that moment at the bar when you kissed him, our relationship ended there." Willow looked at me in disbelief. "You knew?" "Yes, I knew." I smiled and said, "Willow, I'm actually glad I only spent 5 years recognizing who you really are. Not a lifetime. I'm married to Anna now, and I will love and care for her for the rest of my life. As long as she doesn't betray me, I'll only love her, no one else." Then I added, "You said you liked Makoto, right? You wanted to marry him. We're done, so do whatever you want now." "No, I don't like him. The only person I've loved from the beginning to the end is you, but I don't love you anymore. Don't ever show up in front of me again. You're just disgusting." With that, I helped Anna leave the horse farm. Once in the car, Anna stayed silent, but her lips were curled into a smile. Seeing her smile, I frowned. "What are you so happy about?" She replied, "Nothing. I'm just happy." After Anna graduated, she joined the army. Although there were many boys around her, she had never really understood what it meant to love someone. But today, it seemed like she had figured it out. What's so funny? I didn't quite understand Anna's mood. I was just tired of Willow's constant pestering. As if reading my thoughts, Anna spoke up. "The tickets are already booked. We're leaving first thing tomorrow morning. Our honeymoon awaits." I laughed. "Thanks," she asked. "Thanks for what?" Anna turned to look at me, her gaze full of affection. I grinned and said, "Thanks to my wonderful wife." At that moment, Anna's heart skipped a beat. She looked at me, her face turning red with shyness. Chapter 17. I looked at Anna's swollen foot and parked the car in front of a pharmacy. Soon, I came back with some supplies, opened the passenger door, and carefully removed her socks. Anna looked at me, confused. "What are you doing?" "I'm checking your foot. Didn't you sprain it? What if it's swollen badly?" "Thank you." As I gently handled her foot, Anna's heart fluttered. She leaned down and kissed my cheek. That quick, fleeting kiss made my face turn bright red, all the way to the back of my ears. She always teased me, but when it came to actually kissing me, she seemed flustered too, lost and unsure of what to do. I couldn't help but smile at her adorable expression. I said, "So, you do blush too?" She bit her lip. "Who's blushing?" I massaged her ankle, and she let out a soft gasp. "Ah." I immediately pulled my hand back, asking, "Does it hurt?" She shook her head. "No, it's fine." Her face was slightly flushed, though. Looking at her, I suddenly remembered when Willow had sprained her ankle. I used to buy medicine for her and rub it on her foot. Back then, she would moan in pain, and I'd panic, pulling away to ask if it hurt. The past was so clear in my mind, but everything had changed. "Are you thinking about her?" Anna could tell that I hadn't moved on so easily. Of course, after 5 years of a relationship, how could I just forget it? I replied, "I won't think about her anymore." I cupped Anna's face gently, looking into her eyes. "I will fall in love with you, Anna." She smiled. "Even if you don't want to, you'll have to, Mr. Wong." "Then please, Miss Sue, I look forward to spending the rest of my life with you." "All right, let's go home." We drove back to the Sue family's old house. That evening, I had my first dinner with the Sue family. They all really liked me as their son-in-law, and kept advising me to treat Anna well and make sure she wasn't mistreated. Anna rolled her eyes. You guys are too much. Aren't you worried that he'll bully me? Sue's mother responded. How could George bully you? He's such a good man. It's actually you we're worried about. Mom, you're so biased. Anna wasn't happy, though her smile was hard to hide. I felt warm inside. I really enjoyed the atmosphere of the Sue family. Then the maid came in and said, Sir, there's a drunk woman outside who insists on seeing the young master. Anna put down her chopsticks and glanced at me. Anna's mother asked curiously, Who is it? George, do you know her? I nodded. Should be. Before I could finish, Anna interrupted. Just a crazy person. Do you want to go out and see? I sighed. I really don't want to see her again. Anna looked at her parents, then said, Mom, Dad, I'll go out for a bit. George is skinny. You have to make sure he finishes his meal. Go ahead, you little brat. At least you care about your husband. When Anna stepped outside, she saw Willow shouting at the iron gate. George, come out. Come see me. I regret it. I know I was wrong. If you forgive me, I'll do anything for you. Anna leaned against the wall, crossing her arms, her expression cold as she watched her. When Willow's voice grew hoarse and her energy waned, Anna opened the gate. Are you done shouting? Anna. Seeing Anna, Willow rushed over like she'd seen an enemy. She grabbed Anna's collar, shouting, Give George back to me. He's mine. He's my boyfriend. Do you know that? Anna rolled her eyes. He used to be, but you didn't cherish him. You cheated on him, hurt him, and now you won't even let him go. Willow, you're disgusting. Willow retorted. This is between George and me. It's none of your business, Anna responded. You're just a drunk. I don't have the time to argue with you. Smelling the strong stench of alcohol on her, Anna raised an eyebrow and asked, What do you want? What will it take for you to leave George alone? Chapter 18. I want him to come out and see me. I want him to come back home with me. That's not going to happen. Anna pulled out her phone and said, If you don't leave, I'll call the police. Go ahead, call them. George won't just let me get thrown into the police station. He won't. All right, let's see about that. Without hesitation, Anna called for help. And when the police dragged Willow away, she was still shouting my name, but I couldn't hear her. I was sitting with Anna's mother on the sofa, watching TV, happily talking about Anna's childhood. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was the police station. Mr. Wong, do you know a MS? Willow, she's drunk and causing a scene. Could you please come down here? I looked up at Anna. I knew it was Anna who had called the police. I said, Sorry, officer, I don't know her. With a neutral expression, I hung up and went back to chatting with Anna's mother. At the police station, Willow couldn't believe George wouldn't help her. No way. He can't just ignore me. You call him over. I want to see him. I want to see him. In the past, when something went wrong, the first person to worry about her was always George. Once, she had been in a car accident and had to be taken to the police station. George was the first one to arrive. When he saw she was injured, his eyes had turned red with worry. He said he was afraid she would get hurt, and that the one he cared about most was her. How could he just ignore her now? How could he say he didn't know her? The officer said, All right, Miss Liu, stop causing trouble. Everyone knows that Mr. Wong is married to Anna now. He's her husband, not yours. No matter how much you shout, he won't come. In the end, the police had no choice but to release her. The officer said, Enough. Don't cause any more trouble outside his door. The man doesn't care about you anymore. No matter how loud you scream, it won't make a difference. Willow sat down in a daze, her heart slowly dying. That's right, he was married now. He wasn't her boyfriend anymore. No matter how much she threw a tantrum, he wouldn't care about her anymore. She had lost George, the boy who loved her the most. What now? She regretted it so much. The day Anna and I were going on our honeymoon, I went home for a bit first. My mother came out of her room with an album and secretly handed it to me. She said, George, this album is full of pictures of you and Willow. You always kept it safe and didn't let us touch it. I found it when I was cleaning your room the other day. Now that you're married, you can't be confused. What should we do with this album? I glanced at the album but didn't even feel like opening it. This album was from our first year together. It was a gift from Willow. She told me that every year we should go to many places and take lots of photos, then put them in this album so we could look at it when we were old. 5 years had passed, and the album was almost full, but our love was over. Mom, just throw it away. Really, you can let go of it. I casually tossed the album into the trash can and scoffed. Let go? What's there to hold on to? The only thing I can't let go of right now is you and Dad. I'll be abroad for over a month, and I'll miss you both. You silly child, you're only going for a month. It's not like you're never coming back. As long as you and Anna are happy, that's all that matters to me. My mother patted me on the shoulder and said, Anna is a good girl. You need to treat her well. Yeah, I nodded and said, I will. Anna called from downstairs. All right, George, it's time. We should go. Coming. We got in the car, and when we reached the airport, I thought I saw Willow's shadow, but when I looked again, she was gone. What are you looking at? Anna asked curiously, scanning the area, but she saw nothing. I said. Nothing. I shook my head. Let's go. Once we passed through security, I walked straight ahead, never looking back. Chapter 19. After George left, a woman slowly stepped out from behind a pillar. She had watched him leave with her own eyes, and it felt like her heart was being torn apart. She still loved him so much she couldn't forget him, but he hated her now. He didn't want to see her anymore. Willow wasn't willing to give up. She decided to wait for him to come back. Over the next month, Willow changed a lot. She wanted to prove to George that she had become a different person. She waited for the day he would return, eager to show him how much she had changed. But when he finally came back, the first thing he did after getting off the plane with Anna was go to the hospital. Willow rushed there as fast as she could. By the time she arrived, they were just walking out of the doctor's office. George was holding Anna's hand, his eyes full of love as he gently scolded her. The doctor said no more eating so much ice cream. Did you hear me? I know. I only had a few more than usual. Look at you acting all scared. Anna looked up at George with a playful smile, but her hand instinctively rested on her stomach. Then she said, "What do you think? Will our baby look more like you or more like me, baby?" Hearing that word, Willow's entire body froze in place. Her mind went blank. Just a little over a month had passed, and he already had a child with Anna. She had thought she still had a chance. How could he already have a baby with someone else? Hadn't he once said he wasn't in a rush for kids? Hadn't he said they were still young? Then why? Why did it turn out like this? George chuckled, running his hand through Anna's hair as he replied, "If it's a boy, he'll be handsome like me. If it's a girl, she'll be as beautiful as you." Anna playfully smacked his shoulder, rolling her eyes. "You're so full of yourself." The man caught her small hand in his own, squeezing it gently. His voice was filled with warmth. "Have you only just realized that? But don't worry, I'll spend a lifetime spoiling you and our baby." The two of them were lost in their happiness, walking right past Willow without even noticing her. George was truly happy now. He had fallen in love with Anna. He would never think of Willow again. Willow realized then there was no longer a chance for her and George. Her mind flashed back to something George had once said. "Willow, when we have a baby one day, I'll give you the grandest fireworks display to celebrate our child's birth." That night, Willow ordered the biggest fireworks show the city had ever seen. For a full 3 hours, the sky was filled with dazzling fireworks, never stopping. The moment the first explosion lit up the sky, I was having dinner with Anna at a restaurant. Everyone around us turned to look at the view outside, taking out their phones to capture the display. A girl nearby asked, "Today isn't a special occasion, why are they setting off fireworks?" Her boyfriend chuckled. "Do you like it? If you like it, I'll set off fireworks for you too," the girl teased. "Then when I have our baby, you better give me a sky full of fireworks just like this," the boy smiled. "Of course, I promise." Listening to them, I suddenly stopped cutting my steak. I slowly lifted my head and let out a quiet sigh. Anna noticed. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Nothing," I replied. I cut a piece of steak and placed it onto Anna's plate. "Eat more. You're eating for two now." I withdrew my gaze from the fireworks and took a bite of my food. "It's delicious." I smiled softly. "Willow, this must be your doing. But the truth is, this was supposed to be a promise I fulfilled for you. A grand fireworks display to celebrate our baby. But everything has changed. Fortunately, I've moved on. I have a happy family now.